All right, without further ado, I want to bring everyone out, starting with Jerrica Hinton, who plays Stephanie Edwards. Next up, Caterina Scorsoni, who plays Amelia. We've got Kevin McKidd, who plays Owen Hunt. Kelly McCreary, who plays Maggie Pierce. Jason George, who plays Ben Warren. Chandra Wilson, who plays Miranda Bailey. Justin Chambers, who plays Alex Karev. The woman who puts Grey in Grey's Anatomy, Ellen Pompeo. Ms. Debbie Allen, who plays Dr. Catherine Avery. James Picken Jr., who plays Richard Weber. Jessica Capshaw, who plays Arizona Robbins. Jesse Williams, who plays Jackson Avery. Sarah Drew, who plays April Kepner. Martin Henderson, who plays Nathan Riggs. And Giacomo Genniotti, who plays Andrew DeLuca.
That was fun.
I think we broke some kind of, you all broke some kind of sound record or something. That's really impressive. Ellen, I want to start with you in the episode that we just saw. First of all, tremendous, tremendous job. Congratulations. Tell us a little bit about the circumstances that came to have you direct the episode.
The circumstances sitting right beside me. This force of nature wouldn't take no for an answer, and I'm forever grateful to her for that spirit that she has, the spirit of generosity, which not a lot of women have, to push other women, to push other women. What is so funny about that? They don't, not toward other women. You wouldn't know that, because you're not one, last time I checked. Anyway, it's her.
There are a lot of challenging and difficult scenes in there. What was the one that you were most nervous about approaching as a director?
Well, you know, listen, I've been doing this show for 13 seasons, so I wasn't really nervous about any of the scenes, not to sound arrogant, but I was more nervous about the technical aspects of directing. But with respect to emotion and how scenes should be played and how I wanted them to feel and look, I have the best cast in the world to work with. So with an incredible mentor and an incredible talent, I really wasn't afraid of anything, to quote Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
The scene when Maggie's mom passes away is incredibly tragic, and especially, we'll get to Kelly's acting in that in just a moment, but tell us about some of the choices you made as you were going through and plotting that scene out.
Well, we also had in that scene, we were lucky to have in this episode LaTanya Jackson Richardson, who is an incredible talent, and I feel very lucky to have gotten the chance to work with her also. I knew, you know, visually, listen, the death of a mother is something so quintessentially Grey's Anatomy. And having lost my own mother at a very young age, it's a subject matter that I dove right into. You know, I couldn't wait to sort of make everyone cry. You're welcome. You know, I knew that I wanted that shot at the end, the overhead shot, and I knew I wanted that sunlight coming in that window and that curtain blowing so that we could feel like Diane was leaving her physical body, but her soul was in that room with Kelly. The room was lit up with sun, as I think we feel all our mothers are with us when the sun shines.
Now, you directed this episode, but you didn't exactly take the episode off, and I think a lot of us are wondering, what's it like to direct yourself?
That's not fun, listening to your voice or watching yourself. But again, I was lucky to have Debbie Allen right with me every step of the way. So when I was tired or confused, she jumped in and was always right there for me.
That's great. Do you think Meredith is doing the right thing by choosing Pierce over Riggs? Let's just get to the fan question right away.
Listen,
Careful how you answer that.
women have to stick together. Hoes before bros.
Martin, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Do you think that, what do you think about her choosing her sister over Nathan?
You.
Well, I would respect it, but I think it would be sad because, as all men know, it's impossible to be a good man without a great woman by your side. So.
All right. All right. Very well said.
I like that answer.
Very well said.
Your girlfriend's in the audience, so. Hi, darling.
Martin, what's been the one thing you're still eager to learn about Nathan? And have you had any discussions with the writers about his backstory at all?
Just who he is would be good.
Anything else beside that?
Well, if we start with that, you know, it might lead to some other questions, but no, I am excited. I mean, it's been wonderful to play a character that's sort of polarizing, and there's this mystery and enigma as to, you know, is he a good guy, is he a bad guy, do we like him, do we hate him, and I think that's been enjoyable to titillate the audience, and, you know, I have to credit Shonda Rhimes for very strategically and, you know, and delicately doing that as she does. But I, as an actor, after a couple of seasons on the show now, I definitely I'm looking forward to the opportunity for Nathan to be in a relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, where we start to see a little more of who he is deep down. And I think, you know, just as an actor, I'm looking forward to that. So that might be next season.
Or 4 seasons from now.
Or 4, let's see.
Let's have a round of applause for Kelly McCreary, who did such a terrific job.
Okay, it's getting awkward now. Thank you.
Kelly, what have you learned about Maggie through this ordeal with her mother's cancer?
Maggie loves so deeply, and she's such a, she's like a very open-hearted, optimistic, forward-thinking. She believes in everybody. She believes in people and wants them to be their best and show up as their best and
Nothing like you.
No. Negative Nancy over here. And that was really, really beautiful to play. Like she's so determined, and even in the midst of a lot of doubt and really the realities of her mother's illness, she was, you know, trying to make the best of a very, very bad situation.
Maggie's mom tells her to be, quote, a little lazy, a little slutty, and make a mistake.
Yeah.
How do you think that's going to affect Maggie going forward?
Boy, you know, Maggie's gonna be shirtless in season 14, or pantsless. We'll let the fans decide. I think you know, I think that major life events like this sort of enable you to shift your perspective and reevaluate what you think is important to you. And I think that for a long time, being one version of herself was the right way to do things, and she might, you know, explore some new ways.
Nice. Parents, the death of them, the absence of them have been a tremendous and huge theme in Grey's Anatomy this season. Jesse, I want to turn to you. What was your first reaction when you? Let the man talk. What was your first reaction when you found out you were going to meet Jackson's father?
When I first found out I was going to meet him, I was excited. It's been a big cloud hanging over the character for his entire life and my entire career playing him. It's been just a big kind of gaping hole. So being able to kind of fill that in with a human being, a person that you can make eye contact with, that you can try to, you know, ask all these questions, whether you're actually able to articulate them or not, was a very exciting prospect. Yeah.
How did you prepare for that confrontation scene?
On the notes.
Yeah. I'm not really sure, honestly. I mean, it was a pretty... Yeah, I really prepared myself by making sure I kind of went over an understanding of my timeline and the chronology and the experiences that this character has been through, but also I was just really laid the table to be able to really listen and be honest in the moment as we worked on it. Thankfully, we got to work with, you know, an incredible actor named Eric Roberts, who was tremendous and really wonderful to work with. And it was, what was interesting was being able to work with, have an actor that you don't, have a character that you don't know, you've never met, essentially, in Robert Avery, Eric Roberts' character, but be doing it with the full support of his person, his best friend, April Kepner, played by Sarah Drew. So you had both, you had a great support system and an absolute failure in the same scenes, in the same experience. And that being torn between that throughout was I just kind of listened and paid attention.
Sarah, these standalone episodes are some of the fans' favorites. Can you talk to us a little bit about what's the process like to film one of these? Like, how many days does it take? What goes on set and during those standalone episodes?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Yeah, because we were shooting them concurrently with the season. So we shot episode 8 or 9, and then we went off with Kevin to shoot episode 16 while all the rest of these guys were shooting episode 10 or 11 or something. So we were shooting with the Scandal crew. We were with a completely different crew in a completely different set. On location, we were in the mountains. And it really did feel like we were shooting a movie. It was really neat to get the chance to kind of get out of the hospital and follow just one specific story all the way through to the end. Because we got the opportunity to really take time to listen. So much happened in the silence in that episode, which we just don't have the luxury for when we're servicing so many different storylines. Yeah. So it was really amazing. It was such a fun experience.
All right, Sarah, let's talk about that Jackson and April hookup. Do you think... Do you think the two of them should and can make it work?
Sorry, do you think we can make it work?
Yeah, do you think you can make it work?
Yes! No. Yeah, I honestly think, the main takeaway from that experience in Montana is that these two people, there's so much love there, there's so much respect there, they know each other so well. Whether it continues and moves towards romance or stays platonic, we know for sure that these two are going to be okay, and that they're going to always depend on one another, and that they will always be one another's person. So I think at the end of the day, it's very hopeful. It's very hopeful. It's very hopeful. Everything is hopeful. And it could lead to romance. Who knows? We can't say anything.
I want to turn to a romance that isn't going as well. Kevin. How does it feel to be watching Owen go through his biggest nightmare again, that he's marrying a woman who doesn't necessarily want to have kids?
You know, poor Owen. Poor Owen. He desperately wants a baby, and he just... it's the only thing he wants. And she just changed her mind. She just changed her mind. No, I mean, you know, I think Owen's really struggling. You know, he's a very tortured guy, and I think he thinks the thing that's going to fix him is to have a family with this beautiful woman played by Caterina. But she's not. She doesn't want to right now. So I don't know what to say. I mean, he's kind of waiting, and he loves her, and he's tortured, and we'll see what happens. You know.
You also are, you're a veteran director of Grey's Anatomy, I believe 14 episodes. Is there a scene or an episode that stands out for you?
I think the episode that just aired last week, the Montana episode, I was so proud of Jesse and Sarah and everything, the work that they did. And, you know, my approach with it was, I had this feeling that I wanted to. I started out in sort of independent cinema before any of this kind of American side of life started for me. And I love it, don't get me wrong. But so when I read that script, I really was, I wanted it to feel like an independent movie, you know, but a really high-end quality independent movie. Not a bad one where you can't hear the sound, and it's, you know, the lighting's terrible. So, but that was my approach. I just wanted to give, and also Sarah just spoke beautifully there about. I was like, wow, this is actually an opportunity to tell one story instead of 7, which is normally our show. And so I really encourage the actors, I think, to just be as brave with listening and being as silent and let those silences last for as long as they want. And I think it turned into something beautiful.
Agree. Caterina, yes. Caterina, I want to turn to you. I mean, the simple question would be, Amelia's had a very rough season. What's the toughest part of playing her? But I want to flip that, actually, and ask, what do you admire most about her?
I think, gosh, Amelia has been hit so many times by life, from private practice to Grey's Anatomy, and even before. And in her backstory, even on private practice, I mean, her large-scale tragedy started when she was 5 years old, and they just kept coming. And she's a character who, through the most dire circumstances, has managed to pick herself up off the ground every time, and has continued, and continued in a way that tries to be of service. She's trying to save lives. She's trying to bring life to people, though life has been taken from her so many times. And so to play someone with that much heart and tenacity, who can kind of pick herself up, it's an honor. Yeah.
All right. We are going to turn to a lightning round. We're going to turn to a lightning round. So I'm going to go down. Jericho, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go all the way down the row. You're each going to get a question either from me or from a fan, and the first thing that comes, you have to say the first thing that comes into your mind.
This is dangerous.
I promise. And you can take a if it's really bad, you can take a pass. But I think you'll be.
If we pass, do we then get another question, or we've passed completely?
I'll give you another question.
Another question.
Unless you want to pass completely. These rules are very, very loose. All right, Jericho, I'm going to start with you. Who among you would be most likely to be a doctor in real life?
Lightning round, lightning. Oh, sorry. Lightning round, I'm not good at this. Pressure. Chandra, I'm looking at Chandra. I'm going to say Chandra.
Great.
This is terrible.
Caterina, who is most like his or her character?
Oh gosh. Oh, who's most like his or her character?
We're failing at lightning.
No, I wanted the first question.
All right, who's most likely to be a doctor? And who's most likely to be a doctor?
Kelly McCreary.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Kevin, who do you wish you had more scenes with?
Any of the men. Any of the men. Because they never put got some scenes together. They sort of dole us out around the episode. So whenever I have a scene with a guy, I'm like, oh my God.
Kelly, what is the favorite friendship that your character has?
Oh, so many good ones. Favorite friendship? Well, Meredith.
Great.
My sister.
Jason, what is the grossest prop on set?
Grossest prop on set would be any of the meat that gets thrown into the body when we're performing surgery. They literally take hunks of meat and just throw it in there. And then we have this little device that has electricity in it, and we shock it, and it smells like burn. It's not cool.
So
it's not cool. Not a good look.
Good answer.
Chandra, what is the oddest prop on set? Yes.
Oh, the oddest prop on set.
Perhaps, do you want to tell them all about Scott Foley's head?
Oh, yeah. That's just strange. Because, I mean, our prosthetics, I mean, we get some amazing prosthetics. And we had a Scott Foley for when Scott Foley was there and Scott Foley died. And we've just kept the Scott Foley. So every now and then, Scott Foley shows up on the table. And it's like, hey, Scott, what you doing? And we kind of kill him over and over again.
Justin, what is your favorite or strangest fan encounter?
No, really. Like, we haven't done this last time we did this was season 1, 2? Season 2. It is, I gotta tell you, guys, we are so appreciative you guys are here. It is so cool. Thank you for coming. It's incredible. We're so grateful. So thank you guys. This is it. This is
Great. Alan, what is the most surprising piece of medical trivia or info that you've learned?
I haven't learned any.
Ms. Debbie, the thing I wish I could change, my favorite thing about my character is, let me repeat that, my favorite thing about my character is
that I have mad old sex with Dr. Wong.
James, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. The favorite thing about my character is?
The shoes I'm wearing right now.
Jessica, who has the best couple name? Is it Japril or Marilex or Calzona or Amelia?
It's true. I think I have to go with Calzona, right?
Yeah, okay. Jesse, this is from a Twitter fan at Sage Puente. What's your favorite color scrubs?
The dark blue. Darker the better, yeah. Not the prison orange. That was
Sarah, this is from at Princess Diali. If you had to choose another love interest for your character, who would it be?
I don't want one.
Martin at Mexican Cans asked, do you think Shonda owns stock in Kleenex, and that's why she's trying to make us cry every episode?
That and fake blood, yes.
And Giacomo, finally, who tells the best jokes on set?
Capshaw.
I want to turn to some of the veterans who have been with the series since the beginning. Chandra, I want to start with you. You've got 13 seasons under your belt. What has been the most difficult scene to film in those 13 seasons?
Wow, difficult.
But you've directed too. You've directed a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You've directed?
How many?
16.
16.
Wow. Goodness, good. Well, I'll tell you. Meredith. So I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna go way back to season 2 with Bailey giving birth, right? It turned into something really kind of incredible with the whole vajayjay thing, but at the time, I had just had my son, so I was like, kind of remembering what labor pains were and all of that, but just trying to figure out, where to put my legs. And all of that, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get, and it turned out to be something so cool. But that one, I guess it was kind of scary for me because that was Bailey's first kind of departure from the woman that you guys had come to know. You got to see something else, yeah.
Justin, Alex has had a really, really rough first half of the year.
Yeah.
What was the most harrowing scene for you to play?
Oh, shit. I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, crap. Finding out that Joe was married, and to settle. Yeah, it's like it's sort of like she just drops it like that, on the elevator, and it's like, oh crap, that's really what this is about. Because he wants to marry her. That definitely was it, I think, for this season.
All right, the fans are begging me to ask, do you think that Alex should be with Joe or should he be with Meredith?
You know what? Listen, I think anything is possible, especially on Grey's Anatomy. I think it'll go where it goes. He might end up with Catherine. Who knows? Anything is possible in this show. I personally think I'd like to see how it fleshes out the relationship with him and Joe. So I'd like to see where that goes. But, people can be friends for quite a while and become lovers, so you never know. Anything's possible.
James, Richard has had a really, really tough run of it. 3 of his most important relationships with Catherine, with Bailey, with Arizona have all imploded in the past few episodes. And what's it like to play him kind of lonely?
Oh. Richard has survived aneurysms, panic attacks, electrocution, alcoholism. Now I got these 3 to deal with. I think he's kind of glad about the time.
That is a great answer. Ms. Allen, you have been part of many, many terrific series. I'm wondering what's so special about this particular set and this particular cast.
I think what's really so special and wonderful about Grey's Anatomy is that, and why the footprint of our fans explodes every week to week to week and is growing to a whole new generation, is that it's about characters and people that are real. These are real life stories. Ms. Rhimes and our writing staff, they comb the medical journals to get what is the new cutting edge, medical achievement or not. Our actors are vested in their characters in a way, and such a wonderful cast like nothing I've ever seen. And I've been a part of, yes, many shows, from Fame to A Different World to this. But I have to say that Grey's Anatomy is saving lives every week. We are. We're giving people something that they can relate to. They believe these characters exist, our circumstances. But I got a text from a person just last week that said her girlfriend was diagnosed with breast cancer, and the doctor had told her, "You're fine, don't worry about it." But then she watched an episode of Grey's and saw the same symptoms and went back. and she was not good. And Grace saved her life. So I'm thrilled to be right in the middle of this, tornado, this wonderful on fire roller coaster. And that's what it is. It's a ride that you take that you can't wait to get back on when it's over. Every episode is new. Every episode is fresh. And I'm telling you right now, the end of this season is hot, honey, hot.
Jessica, tell me what it's been like to play Arizona this season, sort of post-Cali and entering a new relation, having her enter a new relationship.
I think that it's been interesting. It's been new. I mean, I think that when you have a character like Callie, who is played by such an incredible actress for so many years, and the partnership that you have creating this couple and this whole life is incredibly valuable. I think that then by the end of last season, there was a really nice point at which you could actually happily, hopefully, permit both of them to be happy without each other. And so when that happened at the end of last season, it created a really nice springboard for this season. And this season, I truly, genuinely, I don't know what was like going around in my head, but I got home one night and I turned on Netflix, which I hear a lot of people are watching the show from the very beginning from, and I watched the pilot episode, and then I watched the first episode that I was ever in. And I think that I did that because I wanted to watch the show that I fell in love with as a fan and what it was about that. Not that I could pretend to create the magic that was in that episode, but watching all the people that were in that very first episode and how magical it was for me as a viewer. And then I watched the episode that I was in because I knew that at that point I was trying really hard to create something new and create a character. And even almost 8 years later, I am now in a situation where I am perhaps creating new relationships. And so at the end of a relationship that I was so grateful that so many people took so much stock in, I find myself at a point where there's something exciting happening for her. There's a newness, there's an... Oh, I'm like, me? What? What did I do? I know, oh, no. No, she got it, Justin gave her her jacket, and they were saying, oh, but not for me, for her.
Classic the chamber.
She just totally, yeah, but there way to go. Anyways, this season I feel like is the beginning of creating something new, and I feel like it's all just very optimistic and fun, and I don't think you get to go back to the beginning of things all that often, and there's something exciting about being in a new relationship and the anticipation of all of that.
Do you think Minnick's the one?
Is anyone but Callie the one? I think that we are so lucky. I think that Marika is so much fun and so lighthearted, and it shows up. I think that she's been in scenes with every single one of us, probably more scenes with you guys than me. And there's just a real light and an energy, and I think we're very lucky to have her. And I have no idea if she's the one, but I think that it's been really fun.
Jason, I want to turn to you. What is the one thing that you're still eager to learn about Ben?
Wow, well, I want to learn a little bit more about who Ben was before he met Bailey. He had a brother who became his sister. Yeah, and so he met this phenomenal woman who has a child, and so she had this life that was moving, and he was this bachelor making bags of money, knocking people out for a living. And she inspired him to go back and change that all up. So I kind of want to know what started him off a little bit.
And you were supposed to just be on for a couple episodes originally, correct?
Yeah, you're supposed to hit it and quit it and be done with me. But for whatever reason, I got lucky and got to stick around for a minute. I think originally I was supposed that Ben was supposed to do Bailey dirty a little bit at the original thought, and then that was my understanding, and that I think the way I was told, Shonda went, nah, and it changed, and so 7 years later or whatever.
Jerica, we do know a lot about Stephanie's backstory, and I understand that you had some involvement in creating it.
Yeah, I remember going to the head writers and asking questions. You know, one of the through lines, not just parent issues in our show, but one of the through lines that makes our show so majestic is the fact that everybody is running from something and it's propelling the thing they're running towards. And I remember going to the head writers asking, what is the thing that Stephanie is running from? What is informing her journey? And we had a long conversation, and I said, I have some ideas. And my lovely cousin, my mother actually, who's in the audience, she and I talked a bit about this as well. There she is over there. You know, I remember discussing it with my mother, and my mother mentioned my cousin and her journey with her own sickle cell disease, and my cousin was very graciously allowed us to use that as inspiration for Stephanie's journey.
That's terrific. Giacomo, I want to turn to you as the newbie of the cast.
Yeah.
What has been the most challenging part about joining the show? Is it the medical terms, or the procedures, or learning how to wash your hands?
I mean, I already knew how to wash my hands. I'm pretty good at it, actually. No, I think Linda Klein, who does our medical, you know, my first surgery was a train wreck. She was just yelling at me, and Giacomo, what are you doing? Like, stop, your hands are, oh my God, like, cut, like, and I was just like, oh no. So there was definitely a learning curve on sort of the etiquette in the OR. But once that was, yeah, I'm learning every day, every episode, you know, I learn new things, and, yeah, I guess that's the most
Nice.
challenging for sure, yeah.
I think we have a couple minutes for a couple fan questions. Please wait until you have a microphone in front of you before this woman right over here in the second row, yes.
Hello. So my question is for Sarah and Jesse, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's
The famous one.
Jesse Williams for president.
I was wondering.
Now you gotta run.
You guys have such a big fan base, especially on Twitter. I'm part of it, but I was just wondering what's your guys' like favorite encounter you've had with your fans, like on the internet or in person or anything?
Encounter with the fans. I didn't know where that was going.
Sorry.
I think, I'm glad you said the internet, because I think that when we have, you know, there's episodes where we obviously have all the scenes, or none, or just one, and being able to see the kind of, dare I say, crazed enthusiasm, despite how many scenes there are, like, that your guys' passion and ideas and creativity and weird fan fiction. I don't read, I've been scarred. But that stuff, it's contagious. It does, you know, you guys are a very, very important part of this process. We don't do this without the fans, and I'm not just saying that it's like an applause line, but it matters. It really matters, and we take note of what resonates with you and what falls flat, and what works and what doesn't. And that doesn't mean Shonda cares, because she doesn't, because she knows what she's doing. But we need both. You know, we need you guys, and we need to hear what you think, and you guys go nuts online. And thanks for helping that episode last week do as well as it did, because it matters.
Who else has a question? There's a woman in red in the third row over there.
Lady in red.
Woman in red in the third row.
Speaking of the episode from the last episode, I really enjoyed it. And so my question is for Jesse. I know that that your character Jackson really got a chance to share how he felt after meeting his father, but are we going to see more of Eric Roberts' character, and is there going to be more that we get to see about that relationship?
Thank you. I hope so. I really hope so, not just selfishly getting to work with such an incredibly talented actor. I know, you know, the person to ask on this stage would be Debbie Allen. She's the boss. But I would love to, and I think there's a lot left to do there. I mean, that's only the first time, literally, they've met. So, yeah, there's a lot to work on. What do you think, Debbie?
We've planted a lot of seeds this season, and that's a big one, that certainly could resonate in a lot of ways, but there's more coming.
Who else has a question?
I'd like to see him.
The woman in blue, a woman in blue, second in right over here. Yes, you with the blonde hair. Yes.
Hi, I'm Lauren Westland. This is more of a comment, but Miss Pompeo, I just want to say thank you so much for advocating for those with mental health, I being one of them. I hope to work in public policy advocating for mental health reform, so I really just want to give you a big shout out because it does mean a lot, and you are an inspiration to me and many of us who do suffer with mental health, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
There's a woman in a blue T-shirt on my left-hand side. Yes, you. Just wait for the microphone, please.
My question is for Ellen Pompeo. What is your favorite episode you've ever filmed, and why?
Okay, top three. Okay, the pilot, the shooter episode.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna throw one back to me and say the one you just watched. Only because it was an homage to moms everywhere, and we all would not be here without our mothers, so that was one of the most important stories I could tell.
Over in the corner, the woman in blue. Yes, you raising your hand. Yes, you.
Hi, my name's Brooke. So my question's for Justin Chambers. Of all the characters that have died on the show, if you could save one of them, who would it be?
Oh, wow. If you can save one. Game we all play. Pick a random patient.
I want that T-shirt that says Jesse Williams for president. I really do.
Don't.
ATM after. I'll meet you at the ATM after. Shoot. Any.
Save one.
Oh my God, that's such a good question, and I can't.
Top three.
Huh?
Too many people.
Who's
Top
happy?
three.
Huh? Top three. Shoot, I can't remember.
You want to
Died. Like so many people have left, but they haven't died. Izzy didn't die yet.
I mean, no, she died too. O'Malley died.
O'Malley. Oh my God. O'Malley. Eric Dane died. Tyler died. Derek, you died. Yeah. Derek died. McDreamy, McSteamy, they're dead. Tyler Lee died. I love them all. I miss them. Who?
How about something from the other side of the room? Yes, you in the blue shirt right there. Yes, you.
Out of all the characters in Grey's Anatomy, who would you want to play if it weren't you?
Meredith Grey. Of course.
In the back, the man in the back, second. Yes, you.
I'm Andrew.
Hi, Andrew.
I just have to say, I've been watching you guys, obviously, since day one, and I've gone through so many journeys with you guys in significant parts of my life, and I just want to say thank you, because every week that I would watch, every storyline, it just brought life to me. It brought a lot of sadness, but it just helped me through a lot, and I just want to say thank you to each of you so much. It means a lot. But I do have a question. My question is for Ellen. You're amazing. Amazing. And out of this 13 seasons and this journey that you're going on, where do you want to see Meredith go? Where do you see her going?
Well, thank you, Andrew, for those nice words, first of all. I'm so happy that we provided you with so much happiness, sadness, comfort, all of those things. It makes all of this so worthwhile. I think maybe why I've been able to do this show for so long is because I try not to have expectations. And I do the same thing in my life. I try not to look down the road too far because we're going to miss what happens right now today. So I let life tell me what my next step is, and I try to enjoy every moment with an open heart and an open mind, and hear people, listen to people, think about other people first. And life will tell me where I'm going. I don't want to think about what's next. I want to enjoy this moment right now.
There's a woman in front in pink who's been incredibly patient.
Hi. My name is Reagan. I'm Kevin McKidd. You're like my celebrity crush. And, and you guys are amazing. And I don't know what to say. It's just, oh my gosh. Sorry. I'm very starstruck right now.
Didn't flush.
Okay, so since the worst you can say is no, can I have a picture with you guys? Please? Because you guys are my favorite cast of my favorite show ever, and oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's wait on that. Let's wait on that till let's wait on that till after we wrap up.
But thank you.
That's
Thank
very
you.
sweet. All right, we've got time for like one more. You in front. Yes, you in front. Yeah.
Can we get some people in the back?
Yeah, I know you gotta put
Maybe
some
some
We
people
can-
in the back.
Oh, yay! All right.
No, but you can ask your question. You're here.
Oh, Yes.
I'm sorry. This is for Ellen. I love you so much. You are my inspiration.
I love you.
And your character has helped so many people, coming from people who have abusive mothers or difficulties with their mothers. And I was just curious, what you've learned with your character and having had lost your own mother early on, do you think it's more difficult or challenging growing up with a mother who was so harsh on you, or just not having grown up with one? Sorry.
Well, no, that's okay. That's a really great question. This is what I think. I think that it's, growing up not having a mother, that's all you sort of focus on is that you don't have a mother, or all you focused on probably is that your mother, your relationship wasn't what you thought it should be. And what's interesting about life is that everybody, my idea of a mother-daughter not getting along, I didn't even think of that, And so when I grew up and started hearing about women who had mothers who didn't have symbiotic relationships, that was so eye-opening to me. So the answer is, I think it's all difficult. But I think that thematically, what we have to understand is everybody has a story. And your story is not more difficult than mine, and my story is not more difficult than yours. And I think if we all keep an open heart and open mind and compassion for each other, life is hard, no matter what the circumstances, whether they be blue or red or green or yellow. We all have a story.
All right, we've got time for two more questions, and they're going to come from the back.
I love you, by the way.
Go ahead. Choose one.
Up there in the back. Yeah, up there.
Pick somebody back there, buddy.
We can't do the third tier. We can only do the second.
Oh, okay.
We've got a mic. We've got a mic right there.
Great.
Right there.
Perfect.
First, I want to say that I love you guys so much. And, well, my aunt just came from Mexico to visit, and she wanted me to tell Weber that she loves you. She's like 45. She's so in love with you. But my question is, like, for me and my personal life, I'm a dental assistant, and I've been doing this for so long that I decided to go back to school and make a change of careers. Of course, going to medical school is going to take so long. So I decided to go for a nursing program, and that's all because of you guys. I want to see if there's going to be a lot more into, like, kind of like at the beginning of the first years, where you guys would show a lot more of what, like, it actually is to be in the medical field and all this, like, kind of like complicated terms that a lot of us, we don't know, but you guys will, like, make it seem so easy and make us want to go to medical school.
Well, you know, honestly, Shonda always says that the show is really not about medicine. We just happen to be in the world of medicine. The show is really about relationships. And sometimes, even when I'm mentoring directors that are coming on to Grey's, they get lost in the surgery because they want to get all these shots of this intricate choreography. It is choreography. It's a fantastic thing. And the surgeries in the medical that we do are really precise and real. But at the end of the day, it's about what's happening with the doctors and the nurses and the interns. So I think we're a really very realistic medical show. We have a lot of great, amazing world-class professionals who are our advisors, our counselors, who love the medicine that we do. So I don't think we're lacking in showing medicine. And I think that the idea of the show is really more about our relationships that happen in a hospital.
Thank you. Thank you.
Picture with you.
All right, I asked Giacomo to pick the last question here.
The very back row there, those two girls in the very back row. There, can you get a mic out?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right. There's two girls right in the very back. The last row.
Back. Yeah, there you go. She knows.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes. Yes.
Hi.
Somehow we magically got it to you.
First, I wanted to thank you all so much for being here. I'm ecstatic to get to meet you all, and I'm kind of freaking out right now. But I wanted to direct my question to Jessie, first and foremost, because you're my favorite, and I love you. My question to you guys is, how is your relationship with each other similar or different than the dynamic with the characters on screen?
Well, I can only speak for myself. I work with this one the most. And our relationship is actually much more stable. Like we actually really get along and like each other and don't curse each other out and throw each other out all the time. We don't fight, and it's really helpful. So I think that generally it's a really lighthearted set. We crack a lot of jokes and have a lot of fun and try to save the drama for the drama, like save the drama for what's on screen. Yeah, in my experience, we talk a lot of shit and have a lot of fun, and keep it light because you guys cry when you see this emotional stuff. We're carrying that with us for weeks at a time to prepare to deliver it, to serve it up to you. So there's a lot of heavy weight, a lot of drama and trauma that we're trying to figure out a way to articulate for you. So we try to, when we don't have to, try to keep it light and enjoy our time with each other. I love you too.
And on that note, that's a wrap. Let's hear it for our cast.